globally for our students to bring out the best in them. And that is the reason why we are offering qualitative teachings every day. All you need to do to be part of this success endeavor is to subscribe to our YouTube channel with the name David Oni, and also to click on the like button and the notification button. Now, you will agree with me that for the few videos that we've shot, it has, increased the knowledge of our students tremendously. We are encouraged by the level of response we are getting from the members of the public, and that is why you are the one that keeps us going. So we encourage you to always leave your comments. We encourage everyone to subscribe to our channel so that we can all benefit from this great endeavor. Now, in our two subsequent videos, we were able to define government, and we were able to state the attributes, the features and characteristics of government. So for today, we are going to discuss the functions of a government. So we are going to discuss functions of governments. Now, governments as a subject, as we have rightly said in our first video, that it is the body of machinery that is responsible for the execution, formulation, and implementation of governmental policies. And we went ahead to state that government has various characteristics. We mentioned political power, we mentioned lawmaking, we mentioned revenue, we also mentioned personnel, and we also mentioned welfare. So for today, we are looking at the functions of government. Government performs numerous functions, but for the purpose of this video, we are going to state just few of them and explain on them. Now, one of the functions of government is law making. Law making. Government makes laws, and these laws are binding on every individuals that are located within the territorial jurisdiction of the country. When these laws are made, they are meant to regulate human activities so that people will not go outside the law, because a state or country without law, there is no offense. But when there is a law, these laws are binding on every individuals, both the government and the governed. Now, these laws are made by the legislative arm of a government, which we are still going to discuss more further in our subsequent videos. So, lawmaking is an attribute of the government, and it is also a functionality of the government. So, government must make laws. So, one of the functions of the government is to make law in the states. In other words, the laws that are made by the government is no respecter of any body. no matter how highly placed you are, no matter your position in the society, everybody is equal to the law. Nobody is above the law. But in our subsequent episode, we're going to see that there are some discrepancies in this area, which we're not going to talk much on this one. But we should know that there's what we call parliamentary immunity and there's what we call diplomatic immunity. So in our subsequent videos, we are going to discuss what we call parliamentary immunity and what we call diplomatic immunity. But for the purpose of this lecture, lawmaking is an attribute or function of the government. Then number 2, protection of lives and properties. Protection of lives and properties. The function of the government is to protect the lives of its citizens, is to secure the lives of its citizens. Now, what are we saying here? It is the duty of the government to ensure that the citizens in the states and non-citizens that are found in the states or located in the states that are in the territorial boundary of the state are well secured. How does the government secure its citizens? Government can secure its citizens by equipping the security agencies. I say again, government can secure and protect the lives and properties of its citizens by equipping the security agencies. Now, who are the security agencies? The security agencies are given the responsibility to protect people. And who are they? The police force. Now, it is cardinal, it is mandatory, it is obligatory that the government must equip the police force. If the police force is underfunded, if the police force is not well equipped, if the police force is ill-equipped, then you will discover that in such a state, the lives and properties of the citizens may not be secured enough. In other words, there is going to be a problem. And that's why government in every of its statutory budgets must make a provision for the security agencies, e.g., the police force. Number 3, maintenance of external relations. Nigeria is in a global village. We have what we call globalization. Globalization has made the world to be a village where people can interact, where people can communicate, where people can discuss. I hope you understand what I mean. So what we're saying there is that Nigeria cannot be in isolation. Nigeria cannot survive on its own. There is a level of interdependencies among nations of the world. So nations of the world try as much as they to have a friendly relations with other countries. What we're saying is that Nigeria is surrounded by our neighbors like Cameroon, like Ghana, like Niger, and some other neighbors. Apart from these neighbors, Nigeria is surrounded by other different countries. In other words, Nigeria must maintain a good external relations with this country. And how do they do that? Through the what? The building of embassies. In other words, Nigeria has embassies in other countries. Nigeria also has what we call ambassadors. So it is through this medium, through the high commissions, through the embassies, through by the diplomatic corps and the ambassadors, that Nigeria is able to maintain external relations with our neighbors. So one of the functions of government is also to maintain external relations, good external relations. Then another one is what we call provision of employment opportunities. Provisions of employment opportunities. It is the duty of every nation in the world. It is the duty of the government in every nation state to provide what we call employment opportunities. Now, when you talk about employment opportunities, the citizens of the state must be gainfully employed, which will translate to an improvement in their standard of living. Apart from the improvement in their standard of living, they must be able to have what we call a higher per capita income. Higher per capita income. Now, it is the duty of the government to provide this employment opportunity by creating a conducive environment for business to thrive, for business to survive. So, government provides employment opportunities. In advanced countries, government ensures that those that are not employed, government will give them allowances to survive on until they are able to get a job. So, same thing applies in developing countries, but it might vary. In the case of Nigeria, it is also the duty of the government to provide jobs for its citizens. When there is a creation of employment opportunities to the people, it will help to improve their per capita income. It will help to improve their standard of living, and also to reduce crime in the society. So, one of the functions of the government is to provide employment. Now, we have been able to mention lawmaking, protection of lives and property, maintenance of external relations, provision of employment opportunities. Then number 5, defense or security. You will agree with me that every nation of the world or nation states are spending more and more money in the area of security. We are in the age now where terrorism has envisaged the society, where some people with extremist ideas or ideologies might want to hurt people, innocent people in the society. Apart from that, the government might be in a belligerent situation with other countries. where the territorial integrity or the sovereignty of that country in question may be endangered or jeopardized. So, in a situation like this, government must spend money on security. Government must spend money on the armed forces. Government must ensure that the lives and properties of the citizens are well secured by funding security and providing defense. Now, in other words, when the government spends money on defense and security, then the country's borders and territorial integrity and territorial boundary and its sovereignty can be well defended. And that is why today, countries like America, countries like China, countries like Russia, and a host of other countries are spending money in the area of security. So, security is paramount, security is indispensable. It can never be negotiated. Number 6, settlement of disputes. And number 7, punishment of offenders. Now, it is the duty of the government to settle disputes. Now, you will agree with me that there is every tendency for man to have, a disagreement with his neighbor. There is a tendency for companies to have a disagreement with other companies, most especially when the agreement that is being signed is being breached. Now, in a state where this dispute arises, there are various machineries that have been set up by the government to ensure that these disputes are settled through reconciliation and through arbitration. Reconciliation and what? And arbitration. In our subsequent topics, we are going to be looking at the instruments and bodies of arbitration, mediation, and reconciliation. That is arbitration, reconciliation, and arbitration. So we're going to be looking at arbitration and reconciliation and also mediation. There are some instruments set up by the government to look into these areas. So, now, back to our basis, settlement of disputes. Now, it is wrong or it is against the law when individuals take the law into their hands. And that is why government has set up what? Bodies like the courts to settle these disputes. We have customary courts or magistrates. We have high courts. We have supreme courts. And a host of them in the society that are there to settle disputes among individuals. Then lastly, we have what we call punishment of offenders. In every society, there are those that violate the law. And when the laws are violated, there are punishments set aside for those offenders. Like I said at the beginning, a country without a law, there is no offense. But where there is a law and there is an offense, there is always a punishment. So what we're saying here is that those that contradict or goes against the law, there is a punishment for them. And that's why the government has also set up the court that can adjudicate and sentence these offenders based on the level of the crime they have committed. But you must know that in law, an individual must not be punished beyond the offense he has committed. Offense committed must be equal to the punishment to be given. Apart from the law courts, we also have the prisons. Whenever these offenders are being sentenced, they are sent to the prisons or rehabilitations or community service to answer for the offenses they have committed. So, for the punishment of the offenders, which is one of the functions of the government, we have the prison and the courts in conjunction with the police that gives us what? Punishment to offenders. Number one, such offenders or culprits may be arrested by the police, but the police is not the judge. In other words, if a police tells you that you are a criminal, it is against the law. Because it is only the court of law that can decide whether an individual is a criminal or not. And that court must be presided over by an independent judge without any partiality. So justice must be equitably justified. So these are the functions of the government. I hope today you have gained a lot from our studies. Now, for you to be able to enjoy more of these studies, just subscribe to our channel, click on the notification buttons, and like our channels. Apart from that, you can leave comments on how we can improve better. So these are the functions of government. I'll quickly go through them again so that you can, remember them. Number one, we said lawmaking. Number two, protection of lives and property. Number three, maintenance of external relations. Number four, provision of employment opportunity. Number five, security and defense. Number six, settlement of dispute. And number seven, punishment of offenders. I hope today you have enjoyed our lectures. Hope to see you next time. Thank you for coming to our channel. Thank you for subscribing. Hope to see you next time, and God bless. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.